1974 Bangladesh Floods by Raj, Aaron, Heather, Brian, Celia, Mary, and Nonso. Bangladesh is known for their green lands and as well as being the country in the world that is most impacted by climate change. In 1974, those nice, luscious green lands, as well as the majority of the crops, were swept away by the flood. It rained for 58 days straight and averaged 5 inches a day. The flood was caused by a perfect storm of events. Bangladesh was already in a monsoon season that began from July and it goes until September. The flood was mainly driven from precipitation around catchment areas that build up rainfall and has a lot of effect on land when 70% of the country is already 1 meter below sea level. Bangladesh experiences floods frequently, but they are relatively small. This flood was huge for a multitude of reasons, being that there are 3 large rivers flowing throughout Bangladesh and its low-lying position at the bottom of the Bay of Bengal. Over time, floods have become worse due to deforestation, poor agriculture practices, and urbanization, making the land flat and hard for water to infiltrate. Some other practices that have impacted the flooding are improper waste disposal, clogging up the drains, and quarrying. The effects of the flood lasted from March until December and put 40% of the country underwater. It destroyed 6 million homes and 1.4 million farmlands. The effects of the floods in the future may be way worse than this, with the continuing uprising in temperatures in our climate. The flood was definitely one of the most devastating natural disasters for Bangladesh. 36 million people were affected, either from homelessness, having their crops destroyed or damaged, having to drink contaminated water, or by death. In fact, this flood is said to have taken over 26,000 lives. That is about how many people attend NC State University. This led to an increase in prices and almost quadrupled the price of rice, making it impossible for locals to afford it. Because of this disaster, the country slowly but surely implemented some policies to help lessen the effects that the next flood has on the country. Houses and homeless shelters were built over the highest known flood levels, along with the government taking action by implementing food action plans that consisted of water rescue, boats, and food storage. Since 1960, the government has set aside $6 billion to build dams and embankments. After the flood of 1974, many people could not afford to abandon their fields, so they stayed home, but some people fled to the capital to find work. Overall, the government left the families to fend for themselves and handled rebuilding the country and taking efforts to prevent the next flood extremely poorly. Here are our sources.